Do not download this Xbox update. What is up, y'all? I'm Ray, and this is my channel, Xbox Ready, where we get on and we talk about Xbox stuff, the latest news, rumors, games, accessories, pretty much anything I want to talk about as long as it's about Xbox in some way. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about a couple of seemingly innocent things that are causing Xbox fans a lot of frustration and how you can avoid them. The next big Xbox franchise making its way to PlayStation, the secret that can make 2025 the best year for Game Pass ever, and we'll wrap up the video talking about what I'm currently playing on my Xbox. So for those of you who are not aware, Xbox has this thing called the Xbox Insider Program. If you're on console and you download the Xbox Insider Hub app, it allows you to enroll your console into these different experimental, or not experimental, test builds, so Microsoft can figure out various features before rolling it out to all Xboxes around the world. There are different tiers, and you get leveled up based on your participation in the program. I forget what the first level is, but it goes all the way up to Alpha Skip Ahead and Alpha Insider, with the top tiers like that getting access to the real experimental stuff, the real cool stuff before anyone else. In the past, this has manifested in people getting to test out the new Xbox dashboard, the Xbox Game Pass family plan, and it's actually through the Insider Hub that you can enroll your Series S into the test build that allows you to do split-screen local multiplayer on Baldur's Gate 3. Most of the time, the Insider program is cool. It allows Xbox to get real feedback from its actual customer base on the features that they're working on. But on the other side of that coin is that sometimes you can run into some problems. Problems like factory resetting your console. As of March 6th, Xbox started getting reports that their latest build in the Alpha and Alpha Skip Ahead rings was effectively factory resetting people's Xboxes. There's a lot of questionable stuff going on with this update. At first it was optional, but then it became mandatory. It was supposed to be a harmless update that just fixed a couple of issues with people's profile and a couple of compatibility issues with certain TVs and displays. But people found out that once they downloaded the update, they essentially had to go through the whole process as if they had just bought their Xbox, setting up their language preferences, signing into their accounts, all that stuff. For some people, they go through that process again, they get to the end of it, they're like, oh, all of my games are still here, cool, I could just go on with my day. But some people are reporting that they are stuck in that update loop. Like, imagine coming home from a long shift, you're like, damn, I can't wait to just play some Xbox, but you happen to be an Alpha or Alpha Skip Ahead Insider and you gotta be dealing with this instead. Luckily, people's data, people's games aren't being wiped from the storage, so it's not as catastrophic as it could be. And actually, as of Friday, they did issue an update saying that they fixed it. But it is kind of lame that this is how you get rewarded for trying to throw Xbox a bone and help them out. At the same time, if you're an insider, you should expect stuff like this. That's the whole point of this program, testing it, ironing out those bugs so it doesn't happen to every console owner once the update rolls out. This would be way worse if it was deleting people's data, deleting people's games. I got 55 games stored on my Xbox. It would fucking suck having to re-download all of my games just because I had the brilliant idea of becoming an Xbox Insider. But it's not just the Insider program causing trouble for Xbox owners. A couple of people are saying that their profiles are getting banned simply for using a VPN. Over on the Xbox Now website, they're displaying this warning saying not to use a VPN at the moment because some people from our Discord were currently banned indefinitely for using VPN. There was another person in this Discord that said they were going through the same thing, but has since had their account reinstated. The response they got back from Microsoft support said that they were caught trying to exploit the price differences or something like that, nothing to do with the VPN. And of course, they're upset because it doesn't explicitly say, I guess, in the code of conduct or whatever, that you can't use a VPN. I know it's pretty common for people to use a VPN on their Xbox. I mean, let's be real, we've all been curious about the New Zealand hack that allegedly gives you early access to games. I also know some people use it to access geolocked games. And in my opinion, this is way worse. If this would happen, like if I got a full ban from my account, that would be devastating because obviously everything is tied up to your Xbox account. All of your purchases, your Game Pass subscriptions, everything. And for an account as old as mine, that would be awful. And as if that wasn't enough, Microsoft is like, you know what, let's go ahead and roll out a firmware update for Xbox controllers that's gonna mess up Bluetooth connectivity and performance. Over on the Xbox support site, Microsoft acknowledged that These connectivity issues were mostly tied to older non-Xbox devices, but if you were running into issues on your console, then you should go ahead and revert to the old firmware. So let's take some tabs here. Beware the Xbox Insider program, beware using a VPN on your console, and beware the latest controller update. The one thing we can't avoid as Xbox fans is more classic Xbox titles making the jump to PlayStation. I get it, we've all said our piece, but it seems that Microsoft Xbox, they are fully committed to bringing their games to other platforms, to different devices, whether we like it or not. Last video I talked at length about Forza Horizon 5 coming to PlayStation. Not a big deal to me personally, but it's a big deal considering that it's the first major Xbox franchise exclusive to make that jump. And if rumors are to be believed, Gears of War is soon to follow. This comes from a pair of stories that have popped up over the past couple of days. This guy on Twitter, Detective Seeds, sorry, that's always just the worst way to start off talking about something. Yeah, this one dude on Twitter said it. This guy said that he allegedly saw it loaded on the PlayStation Store, that it'll be supported on the PlayStation 5 Pro, and it won't have any multiplayer. Separately, Ecstasis, who we've talked about on the channel before, people have their thoughts about him. They're like, this dude, he calls himself a fake insider, which is true, but he has been right sometimes. Somehow he got his hands on pictures of the all-digital white Series X before anyone else, and he's accurately predicted a couple of other game launches as well. So while yeah, he's not right about everything, I'm like, okay, he's been right about enough for me to be like, I'll listen, I'll take a listen. I won't believe, but I'll listen. He's saying that Xbox is gonna reveal a Gears collection at the June showcase, and that it's gonna be on PlayStation as well. We don't know if it's a Marcus Phoenix collection, the first 3 Gears, or all Gears games up until this point. And while there have been other franchises like Halo Master Chief Collection rumored to be on the Nintendo Switch, no word on whether or not Gears is going to make its way over to Switch. Now, whether or not you believe the source of these rumors, sure, they are a little bit dubious. I 1000% believe that Gears in some way, shape, or form is going to make the jump to PlayStation. Xbox leadership has literally been telling us there are no red lines. Whatever Phil Spencer said about, oh, I'm not going to build a fence around any one franchise and say, no, that's going to stay on Xbox. Microsoft wants more money, and the best way that they think they could do that is by pimping their old franchises out to other platforms. I've had months to come to terms with this, but it's still weird. I mean, Forza going to PlayStation 5, I don't care as much because, again, I'm not really emotionally attached to those games. But Gears, that's a different story, man. The no multiplayer part is interesting. I don't know if that's just for PlayStation or if that's going to be across the board how it is on Xbox and PC as well. That's kind of weird. Don't get me wrong, I wasn't big on Gears multiplayer. I loved the co-op, but like the online PvP. I did like Horde mode, but I mostly played Gears for the story. And again, I loved playing co-op with a friend. The only reason I think they would do this, especially on PlayStation, is to catch those fans up on the story so far of Gears before E-Day comes out. Assuming there's going to be a multiplayer component in Gears E-Day, I imagine that Xbox wants people playing that version of the game versus the classic ones. Speaking of Gears of War E-Day, I'm very curious how they're going to handle a PlayStation version of a new Gears game. Are they going to release simultaneously like Doom: The Dark Ages and The Outer Worlds 2? Will there be some sort of exclusivity window like we're seeing with Indiana Jones? There's no PlayStation version of Avowed: South of Midnight. A game with as much hype as Gears should have at least like 6 months exclusivity on the Xbox platform. If you're going to release it on PlayStation, you could at least give your loyal fans, the people who have been subscribed to Game Pass, who bought Xbox consoles, who play their games through the Xbox PC app, you can give them that little perk of trying it early, being the first ones to try it. And if it's really, really good, maybe you can convince some other people to at least play it on PC or buy a Series S, and then they can make a new wave of money once they release a PlayStation 5 version. While I do have a lot of questions about Gears going to PlayStation, yeah, I do think it's weird, I'm still really excited for E-Day. Hopefully it comes out sooner rather than later to join this historic run that Game Pass is currently on with its day one first-party editions. The next couple of months look great. I mean, we got Avowed last month. This month, we're getting Atomfall, 33 Immortals. Next month, Clair Obscur Expedition 33, South of Midnight, Doom: The Dark Ages in May. the remastered Tony Hawk 3 and 4, and that's only one slice of the pie. That's only what we saw at Developer Direct, the first-party stuff. That's not even including all of the other third-party deals that they're gonna sign. And apparently that's still just the beginning because they're planning for even more shadow drops over the next couple of months. Literally on Xbox's website, they say, as always, you can keep an eye on our social media channels for Game Pass, PC Game Pass, and Xbox for when these games are ready to play, and where you'll find our shadow drop announcements too. We'll be back with more games. Talk soon. Shadow dropping things onto Game Pass for people to play immediately. That's one of the coolest things that Xbox can do. They did it with Ninja Gaiden 2 Black. They did it with Hi-Fi Rush. They sort of did something similar for the Halo Infinite multiplayer. It's something that only Xbox can do, and looking at Game Pass for the rest of 2025, or at least just the next couple of months, if these wave of games don't get people to sign up for Game Pass, I don't really know what will. Even going back to 2024, we finished out the year with Black Ops 6, Stalker 2, Indiana Jones, Into Avowed, and all the games that I was just talking about. So many games that cover so many different genres and interests. If 2025 ends and they're like, Game Pass growth was pretty stagnant, we didn't see any meaningful rise in engagement or subscriptions, I'm gonna be shocked. Sure, they raised the price of it, they locked the day one editions behind the most expensive tier, Ultimate, but for someone like me who plans on playing all of the games that I was just mentioning, right when they come out, it 100% pays for itself. And finally, I want to talk about what I'm currently playing on Xbox, Monster Hunter Wilds. Now, I know you're sitting there like, yeah, a bunch of people are playing Monster Hunter Ray, like 8 million people since it launched. But it's special for me because I've never played a Monster Hunter game before. But with Wilds, my buddy Alex was like, you gotta pick this game up, man. We gotta play together, man. And I was like, okay, I'll give it a try. And at first I was like, I don't know. I'm kind of overwhelmed with all these different systems. The UI is absolutely crazy. So many different menus to navigate. It was a pain in the ass just to figure out how to add someone with their Hunter ID. And then it throws at you like, oh, here's a link party. Here's a squad list. Here's an environment link. I'm like, I have no idea what is going on. It took me a while to get used to the combat. I went into it thinking like, you know what? I played through Elden Ring a couple of times, got multiple endings, I beat Shadow of the Erdtree. How hard could it be? But there was a little bit of a learning curve. I kept forgetting my combos. I really needed to figure out my spacing. It took me forever to get used to the sheath, unsheath mechanic. There'd be times where I'm trying to heal myself and I'm not doing it. I'm like, what am I missing? And then when I'd go to attack someone, I don't have my weapon drawn, so I'm doing nothing. But damn it, I'm about 25, 30 hours in and I am having a blast. This game abides by the rule of cool. If it's cool, it allows you to do it. Jump 200 feet off of a cliff and freaking dive bomb a giant spider. Throw a fart bomb at a huge monkey. Yeah, you can do that. One of my favorite things to do is perfect block in this game. It makes no sense how my shield that's like as big as my character's torso can freaking perfectly block a giant fireball or like a huge freaking like rock fist. It makes no sense, but it's cool. And if I do it enough, I can initiate a clash, which is one of my favorite things to do in the game. I clashed with an Apex Uthduna, which was the size of like a freaking battleship. Again, it makes no sense because I'm like, I'm a regular dude. I got this little shield and I'm squaring up with this huge Leviathan creature. It's awesome. I've been running Sword and Shield, my buddy runs Longsword, and our other friend does Hunting Horn. And when we're all in our bag, perfectly executing every combo, it's a feeling I haven't had in a long time. I see a lot of people complaining about the story. They're like, I just want to go kill monsters. And then other people are like, the story isn't even that bad. It's actually really, really good. I can't really speak to that because, well, I was trying to catch up to my friend's Hunter rank, so I skipped through a lot of the dialogue and the cutscenes. But I will say, whenever I felt like Alma or the handler was about to say, by order of the guild, I authorize you to hunt XYZ. I was like, I gotta see this. This is awesome. Never skipped over that. I see the other drama surrounding this is the optimization issues, especially on PC. Again, I can't speak to that because I'm playing on my Series X. I got it set to performance mode and I uncapped the frame rate limiter. But I will say, especially as you get to the later areas, the resolution is pretty bad. It's like, there's just like all these textures that refuse to load. Like if you stop and just take a look around, there's some really sick seriously questionable stuff. For some reason, the whole budget went to animating these food cooking scenes. They're like, yeah, we're gonna make the food look really awesome and the jungle look like ass. A lot of people have been asking me how it looks on the Series S. I can't speak to that. I haven't checked it out on the Series S, but I imagine not great considering my experience on the X. Despite it all, it is not hindering my enjoyment of the game. It's something to take into consideration before you jump in, but if you end up buying the game, feel free to add me, man. I don't mind putting out my gamer tag on the channel. It's Lord Janitor. I try to answer everyone's messages. I try to play games with y'all when I can. But yeah, follow me, request me, and if you got time, join me on the hunt. Anyways, guys, there's all the Xbox stuff I have to talk about today. Thanks so much for joining me for another edition of Xbox Ready. If you made it this far into the video, consider subscribing. Help me on my journey to 200,000 subs. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.